But now that I've gotten what I wanted, so now all of a sudden I have become this result oriented person where I think that life is one or zero. Completely not at all self contradictory and not at all self absorbent and extremely humble. Anyways, emotionally it did make sense. Like the timing was wrong. Varun Dhawan, by the time Varun Dhawan, you know, rejected the actress, Janvi Kapoor had already, had already gotten a confession from the actor, and at least what was visible from the situation, she had said yes. And if in the meantime, if and obviously at that point, Varun Dhawan, since the actress was hugging him and everything, he thought that they have hit it out of the park. So he obviously to make her feel good because he loved her, sure that everything is good in his life, and that you know, and show and yeah. So maybe that's the reason why, even though I was going to say that Janvi Kapoor could have simply not reacted the way she reacted and kind of get amazed with excitement and say yes and all that, and could have reacted similar to Varun Dhawan and just said no and walked off. And the movie could have ended there and there itself. But then also there is the fact where she was confused whether she likes Varun Dhawan or she still likes the actor. So there's that. And then eventually, when she finds that Varun Dhawan is happy, she pretends that herself and the actor are together now, and she says goodbyes and all that and all that and all that and all that. So it's just two different personalities, as a matter of fact, both loving each other, and that's the point of love. Where if you love each other, you know, you should have, you know, you should do what you should do what the person in the front thinks is good for themselves, in spite of but even though now that I say this, in the first half of the movie, it is portrayed that Varun Dhawan and Janvi Kapoor are madly in love with the actor and the actress respectively, and then because they love them, they want to make the actor and the actress realize that they love each other. Sorry, that Varun Dhawan is good for the actress and the actor is good for Janvi Kapoor, and then get them for themselves. But then maybe it is like maybe the first part shows attachment where you initially love each other, at least claim to love each other, and so you want the person who you love for yourself, And maybe the second part was love, where you do things where, you know, you do things where do things, you just, when you love someone, that is what is rightfully been said in all of the holy books, where if you love someone, there is no you, there is no them, there is only us. And at that point, you only think about the happiness of the person in front. So it is genuine that when Varun Dhawan truly and Janvi Kapoor truly fell in love, that's when they did things that was good for the person they love. So now that I've said this out loud, there is logic and there is story in the movie. There is obviously a lot of silly shenanigans, but it's definitely a good movie. But now that I've explained all this, I am kind of, you know, comprehending some of the life decisions that I've made. But I might have been in a similar situation. But then now that I again think about it, you know, I have realized that I too, after a certain point, I too initially, because I loved someone, wanted them for myself, but then I eventually realized that they don't want me and they are not happy. They are not happy with me. So at that point, I realized that, you know, I realized that I should let them go, and I did. And then whatever happened, happened. So yeah, I did the right thing, maybe. So there's that. Anyways, so this is the extremely. So, this is what happens with me. I was gonna put forth the point. I say something, then once I've said it, I think about what I've said, and then I realize that okay, what I've said doesn't make any sense, and I was wrong. So then I defend the exact thing that I thought was wrong, and that happened twice in a span of what, 20 minutes. Obviously, the first part took a long time, but the second part took less time. So there's that. Perfect. I think I should come back to myself, as a matter of fact. So, speaking about the only person that matters to me, which is myself, I was spending about my. I was not spending. Wow, I was speaking about my spending habits and how they're extremely unhealthy. And I'd like to present another example in front of you, in spite of the already two examples that I didn't complete my first point, right? I was saying things. Yeah, so basically, first I'll complete my first point. So, you know, apart from the Himalayan 450s, obviously, a more capable bike than the Xpulse 210, but I am hardly going to go in the scenarios and the situation where I'll get to, get to experience or get to will hardly be in the situations where I'll actually put the bike, which is Himalayan 450, in the situation for which it is actually built. I saw a reel where I'm seeing many reels actually. People are absolutely beating the shit out of this bike. So they are using it extremely. They're going to these terrains in Ladakh and Leh and all those things, and they are doing a lot of extreme things, and the bike is performing excellently. They're jumping the bike out of dunes and doing the things for which the bike is meant for, and kind of showcasing actually what the bike is meant for. And I have no idea if I'll ever be able to be a part of those things. Only God Himself knows whether or not I'll ever get to be a part of those things. Anyways, so there's that. So what in the so what the maximum capability of the Expulse, what the actual capability, what the so the max capability of Expulse 210 is like one of the capabilities of the Himalayan 450. But then in the day-to-day running of mine, the only the max capabilities of the Expulse will come in handy, and then I'm never going to ever experience or ever gonna get into situations where I'll fully use the capabilities of the Himalayan 450. And here comes the contradiction. But then I have, it's been like a month since I've gotten this bike, and I've already completed 1,461 kilometers on the bike. 1,461 kilometers on the bike. The Expulse has a 210cc engine. The Himalayan has a 450cc engine, and it is capable of doing much more. Whatever I am doing with this bike, cruising up to 1,500 kilometers in a matter of months, is exactly what the bike is built for, and exactly what the bike can do comfortably. Whereas I doubt if the Expulse 210 would have been able to do this. The top speed of Expulse 210 is what, 100, 120 max, maybe. So that's the top speed, and the Himalayan can cruise easily at a speed of 120, 130. So it's always good to have a more capable bike, is what I think. And it would have been a shame if I am not using it. It would have been a shame if I wasn't using this bike up to its potential. So if I wasn't using this bike up to its potential, then that would have been a shame, and that would have been a waste of this bike and the things that it can do. But that is not the situation as of now. Only like so. I still think that more than 50 to 60% potential of the bike is being used. I think endurance is more difficult than qualifying, which means that you can build a car that I think that in terms of engineering there is no use if you build a car that can go 0 to 100 in 1 second, but then needs to cool off for a day. Instead, it is more commendable if you can build a car that can do 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, but, but it can keep on doing that for the entire day. And it is built for that basically to do 0 to 100. So, similarly, the Himalayan 450 is built for endurance. The Sherpa 450 is built for endurance. And now that I'm thinking about it, and that's exactly what I thought. And this is not even me giving credit for my own thinking or trying to sell me the reason, sell myself. What am I saying? Justify the decision that I've taken for myself. It's not that. It's basically, you know, I had started this with an attempt to make fun of myself and to criticize myself for the kind of decision that I've taken. But now I have realized that it's good that I took this decision because for the foreseeable future, at least for another 3 or 4 years, I see myself, you know, I see myself using this bike and following the routine which I am following right now, which is roughly 350 kilometers. Not 350, 300 kilometers per week, which is fair, like 350 kilometers per week, 1464 kilometers in a year. Nothing serious, and exactly the way, exactly the intent, and exactly the way it was supposed to be. So there's that. And by that, I have managed, and after saying that, I have successfully managed to yap for, I think, more than an hour. I am a few meters away from my house, and I am going to reach there in a few minutes. So there's that. And I have officially ran out of things to say. And that's where I decided to draw the line for today.